Welcome to our elleKHAN podcast, Psychological Empowerment 101 for Women. Of course, we cannot talk about psychological empowerment unless we know more about what is empowerment. What is psychological empowerment? Why are we even discussing women? So all these questions we hope to answer for you and much, much more with my tribe here. I have Ebtihal Radwa and Radwa Saad. Who wants to introduce our family?
You go first.
Okay,
go ahead. Yeah.
أنا ابتهال طه. I'm the CEO of elleKHAN, and I like to define myself as a growth architect. And what does that mean? It means that I help individuals and organizations on designing their growth plan. رضوى.
Okay. أنا رضوى سعد. I'm the managing partner of elleKHAN under the umbrella of elleKHAN. I'm also an executive and self-leadership coach. A mother too. مش عارفة عايزين تعرفوا ايه تاني عني، ده اللي جاي في دماغي دلوقتي كده.
حاجات كتير بس عندنا وقت تاني نتعرف أكتر.
طب خلاص يبقى it will come naturally with time كده.
Okay, well, I think I forgot to introduce myself. طبعا أنا بسمة عثمان. I'm managing partner of elleKHAN. We launched a women empowerment division under elleKHAN. We hope to focus on specific issues that relate to the agenda of women in Egypt, in the Middle East, in the region, globally. It's not specific to a certain territory. But let's start with the question about what is empowerment. Now we have a lot of textbook definitions, but let me tell you what the textbook says. The textbook says that empowerment has certain components, which is, first of all, you have power. You have the component of access. You have the component of options, positive thinking, learning, growth, self-image, and values. Now, that seems like a mess to me. So can you simplify of how you see what the definition of empowerment is?
I need to think about that. Radwa, jump in.
طيب أنا بالنسبة لي empowerment شايفاها so much related to power.
Okay.
ولو أنا هتكلم بالفيميل هنتكلم يعني بالصيغة المؤنث يعني إني أبقى قوية مش قوية، عارفة الفرق؟ عشان دايما it's related to إنه when we're talking about women empowerment أو we're talking about empowerment عموما and then a woman is talking about it, so it's sort of يعني اوكي دولت الفامبايرز اللي بيتكلموا ازاي الستات تبقى مفتريين وبتاع، فدي القوية يعني، انما قوية this serves all. فfor me being empowered ان انا ابقى I'm into my life، يعني انا ممكن قوي، لو هقول بالعربي ممكن قوي من كل ادواتي الداخلية اللي هي internally ربنا حاططها لي والسبورت سيستم اللي حواليا و everything around me، ان انا ابقى ممكن قوي في كل ده. This is power for all.
Power for all. I love that. I love that. Have you had time to think about it?
The definition of power.
Take it from there.
Okay. طيب. Actually هو كل اللي جاي في دماغي is not what the definition of power is. هو where is power? That's what's coming to my mind.
Find it, let me know. I want. Everybody wants it.
I want some. You have physical power, emotional power, financial power, environmental power. There's so many different kinds of power. And I think the one thing that defines all of them is, I would say it's the ability and freedom to do something. Which brings me bardo to another trail of thoughts, the ability and freedom to do something. Then that means that you have negative and positive power, because you can have the ability and the freedom to do something that's negative. And you have the ability and freedom to do something that's positive. So I would look at the powers from the two ends of the spectrum. And the other thing that comes to my mind when I think about power is I think about the scale. How much power are we talking about? Are we talking about the ability and freedom to choose what I have for breakfast? Well, the ability and freedom to move mountains.
Very interesting. When I first entered the world of like development and industries and the issue of empowerment, when I started hearing more and more about empowerment, and they would talk about economic empowerment, they'd talk about social empowerment. I heard something about cultural empowerment, educational empowerment. And it was very enlightening and maybe enlightening because people were working in the field of empowerment, but they didn't stop to wonder exactly what is empowerment. I mean, few individuals took the time to really get to know what is empowerment. When they talk about economic empowerment, they think it's about, providing assets, providing training, providing money, etc. The provision of, so the person would be powerful. And through our journey as coaches, we've come to have more of an insight. We're seeing the world through the individual, related to, the
if I'm
from
add to
the
that,
inside out.
if I'm allowed to add to that, since you've mentioned coaching, coaching is basically an empowerment tool. لأن هي الاسنس بتاعها إنه I believe in you.
Yes.
And what you can do. And I'm not here to teach you what to do.
Yes.
So this is very empowering for anyone. And just the idea of you can, and actually you can, لأن ما فيش حد فينا، ما فيش بني آدم على وش الأرض مش عايش حياة ما يقدرش يعيشها. فوق طاقته within his capacity
As best as he can.
Yeah, as best as he can. It's a matter of إنه do I really capitalize على my best ولا لأ؟ Do I know it ولا لأ؟ So the empowerment here is allowing إن يبقى في space، وده الكوتشنج بيعمله، إنه اللي قدامي الكلاينت أو الكوتشي بتاعي بيبتدي يعرف هو إيه اللي within the capacity.
Yes.
إيه اللي أقدر أعمله.
You just reminded me of Radwa that I haven't introduced myself. I'm sorry. I haven't introduced myself. I am Basmah Osman. I'm heading the Women Empowerment Initiative, but I'm also a coach. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother, very proud grandmother. And I've worked in the field of development and education. I've had private businesses for over 20 years. I was born and raised in the States, so I have sort of a bicultural background. And I'm proudly part of this elleKHAN tribe. Let's move on to the coaching, which Radwa was referring to. What brought you ladies to coaching in the first place? When we talk about...
Okay, do you want to go first?
لا أنا رد عندي بسيط قوي.
Yes.
This all happened by pure coincidence. And I was in the development of training and development of different areas of different sectors. And I kind of got introduced to coaching كده من بعيد. And I thought in coaching ده كده another حاجة كده tool صغير كده.
Star on the shoulder.
حاجة كده صغيرة هزودها على من ضمن التولز اللي بستعملها. And wow, my life just on the personal level, on the business level, on every aspect, it just اتغيرت 180 degrees.
Same here. Was that your experience, Radwa?
I have different experience شوية. Yes, it changed, بس ما بدأتش صدفة. أنا for me لا, it was intentionally. I دخلت في حتة الكوتشنج دي جاية من what I just mentioned earlier. I do believe I have huge respect for everyone. So I do believe إن كل واحد يقدر يطلع the best he can. can lead actually a happy life بالطريقة بالمعنى الماتيور, مش اللي هو fluffy life. I mean fulfilling life لو هقولها كده. فالcoaching sounded أنا كنت بعمله by nature. ما كنتش أعرف إن ليه اسم scientific name. And then لما خدت ال certificates بتاعتي, ال studies بتاعتي, بقى له structure. That's even better. And it becomes a culture. يعني it's my home culture. It's the culture where we work together. It's the culture I intentionally try to live wherever I go, out of being loving and respectable for everyone. فدي كانت البداية. الحاجة يعني ده الموتيف أو الجراوند. الحاجة التانية كمان إنه when I do that, it's not just إن أنا I'm providing a service that enables or empowers others. They empower me back.
Yes.
I'm very humble. This is a very humbling profession. أنتي لما بقعد معاكي, if I'm assuming that you are my client or coachee, أنا بقعد معاكي from a place of you get to teach me a lot.
Yes.
And you get to witness this. This is beautiful. يعني لما الواحد بيبقى عنده chance إنه يشوف جمال الناس ويطلع أحلى ما فيهم when they are evolving and being empowered, miracles happen.
I can relate to that because every time I go through a coaching session, I'm afterwards, like I'm reflecting. They give me a lot of food for thought and I'm reflecting internally. I'm between, oddly enough, my story is a bit different, which is throughout my life, I've gone through different phases. When I landed in Egypt, I got a culture shock where I felt when I was young, I was powerful and I could rule the world. And then I came here, I got went through a cultural shock. I didn't know who I was. I felt my power. I guess if we can use those words, I felt that there was certain power that was taken away from me, my world, my ecosystem, my friends, my language, the communication, the understanding, a lot of things. And throughout my journey in life, it's just been a roller coaster ride. And what was really invaluable to me was those individuals that, came at the right time and were able to support me just by being there in my life or offering me their ear, offering me their advice, holding the space, as we say in coaching, for me. So being on that receiving end at your low, realizing the impact and how they facilitated me bouncing back or believing in myself and finding my power.
So you had support, mentoring, and coaching is what I heard you say.
Yes.
التلاتة في بعض.
التلاتة في بعض. Yes. This was, this is the نعمة. It was a huge blessing in my life to have those people that would just be there at that moment, at that time. Some of them could, have gone very far away. They're there. But I mean, they just came and they were there when I needed them. And this led me to that, to wanting to give back, to realize when I saw someone that felt or held themselves small, that's where I felt that, all my knowledge and experiences and whatever I have as a person, that I can have a value to another individual. And really have not a hand, but have a role to play in life and a meaning to my life.
بسمة وانتي بتقولي كده, انتي قلتي دي real نعمة. And the other نعمة is that you recognize the نعمة.
Yes.
That it itself, it's beautiful. يعني إن أنا واخد بالي من الelements أو الحاجات اللي موجودة في حياتي اللي empowered me. Yes. لأنه ما فيش حد ما عندناش حاجة ما عندوش أسباب الempowering في حياته. يعني ربنا بيبعت أشخاص, أحداث, حاجات كلها for empowering. It depends على mindset for you to be there to see it, to recognize it. يعني I can relate to that so much. Yeah.
Yes. So this is where it came from, that I wanted to know, I wanted to be able, I mentored and did my mentored staff, mentored youth. My children's friends would come over and what career advising, what parental relationship, parents coming for. So it was like, قلت أطبخ بس مش, I'm not really a chef. So I wanted to develop that skill more. And that's what led me to actually wanting to take a certification because I felt like I was, winging it very well, but how can I offer something better or more sustainable for that person? Really true empowerment, which means that it's not your power. They're not attached to you, but empowerment is the ability to operate or function on their own and having their own power. But a lot of people think when I started to go into the issue of power and empowerment, people thought that it was like a battery where تعالي ممكن أشحن لك خدي من عندي شوية power. That it's that, well, it's...
That brings us to a very important point. لأن وانتي بتقولي على الcoaching, what came to my mind in النهاردة a lot of people بيعكوا كتير قوي باسم coaching.
Yes.
And I think it's now ضحك. And I think يعني it's very important إن إحنا we have to mention in coaching is an empowering tool زي ما رضوى قالت, but at the same time we have our people who are not in the coaching industry have to really pay attention. مين بيقول على نفسه coach ومين actually coach.
Yes.
ومين بيعك ومين بيمشي according to the ethical guidelines with certification rules. وإن إن حاجة مثلا زي certification إن إحنا الثلاثة we're certified.
Yes.
It's not just إن رحنا خدنا course for نص ساعة وطلعنا قلنا I'm a coach.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I thought when I got my certificate. I'm a coach. But then I found I am nothing yet. No, I'm not a coach. And it's a very long journey. I think until you really feel that you can say in true honesty you're a coach, it takes a lot of work on your competencies, your attitudes. Like she said, it's a creating, what was that beautiful word you said? It's a culture. It's a way of being.
Yes.
And it doesn't come with a certificate. It takes a lot of work to really fill that seat. When I, as an individual, want to be empowered, okay, there are certain elements or certain layers that we should look at. And why elleKHAN and elleKHAN, through elleKHAN, have decided to focus on psychological empowerment is because actually that is the layer that few people stop and really realize how important it is. That's the foundation. And when I say foundation, I mean, I personally, I've been 8 years working in different development activities. I don't see how you can be empowered in any realm of your life or in society without the individual actually, or that person operating first and being feeling or being or having a sense of power first قبل بقى ما كل بقية الحاجات الحلوة economic empowerment والحاجات دي تحصل. I think you share my views on that, but let's take a deep dive into psychological empowerment and then we'll get to why women. But what is psychological empowerment? What if you as well Google it, you'll find 1,000 different definitions. But what people often agree on that it is like a blend. There's certain ingredients, okay? And I'll just name the maybe the top 5 ingredients, which is self-esteem, self-determination, self-confidence, self-efficacy, which is my faith in myself, and self-awareness. What is that? What does that mean?
The common word here is self.
Okay.
So we're talking about أنا. يعني أنا دلوقتي لو أنا عندي كل حاجة موجودة, عندي الفلوس وعندي البروجكت وعندي السيرتيفيكت الإديوكيشنال باك جراوند المطلوبة وعندي belief إن I can't. No. أنا I can't do it. No way. Can I move forward? Maybe yes, maybe no. What if إن أنا عندي الحاجات دي وأنا I do believe psychologically بقى إن أنا I can. واي كان دي نحط تحتها مثلا اي كان دي ما هياش مش بالدراع يعني مش فتوانه يعني اي كان بمعنى انه اي كان فانا ممكن اروح لبسمة ask her for كذا.
اوكي so it's not I can you as an individual مقطوع من الشجره ما لكيش حد.
بالظبط اي كان يعني انا بعرف ازاي ان انا يعني اغذي نفسي كويس بحيث ان انا اشوف هو انا السيستم بتاعي فيه ايه اقدر اروح ما عنديش البارير دوت او حتى لو عندي البارير ده self awareness بقى I am aware of the barrier and I'm moving forward despite of this barrier.
أو حتى aware of my weaknesses.
Yes.
يعني aware of the barrier البلوك اللي قدامي أو my own weakness اللي جوه عندي.
Yes. ومنها بموف فورورد بشتغل. ما فيش بني آدم ما عندوش beliefs كتيرة بتخوفه. يمكن هنشرح أكتر حتة limiting beliefs مثلا اللي هي بتبقى مش بالضرورة حقيقية قوي بس بتبقى مكتفة الواحد أوهام في دماغه يعني مش يعني I'm not good enough I can't do it I never did it before. دايما بيبقى لها كده بتبقى فيها دايما صفة الإيه دايما. فلما بتبقى كده غالبا بنبقى محتاجين نتشيك. فما فيش حد فينا ما عندوش ده. اوكي هو الفرق ما بين شخص والتاني انه ان انا عارف ان انا عندي ده I'm managing this I'm taking action toward this is empowering in itself. I'm taking action by for example seeking a professional help going for a coach see support system بتاعي عامل ازاي see education empowering educational empowering الموجود.
So it's also about what you're saying or shedding light on is the ability to move or the will to move.
Yeah. عارفة أنا جاي في دماغي دلوقتي كود كده من أغنية معروفة يعني وما فيش وصفة للتايه أسهل من المشي لقدام اللي هو I'm moving regardless of حاجة كده you know.
I'm thinking the definition بتاع what you just said of أنا همشي لقدام فين. Okay. وصفة للتايه أنا همشي لقدام فين. So I think that brings the part اللي بسمة كانت بتقول عليها واللي انتي كنتي بتقولي عليها اللي هي the will and the awareness.
Yes.
فأنا I'm aware إن أنا مش عارف العنوان فحسأل بس I have the will إن أنا أسأل. I have the will إن أنا أتحرك حتى لو أنا مش متأكد. I have the will. So I guess it's the mix of both of them, the awareness and the will. The awareness of أنا فين على الخريطة.
Awareness of what do I want.
أنا 70. Awareness of what I want, of where I want to go. حتى لو أنا مش عارف الطريق اللي هروحه.
The destination. Well, it's funny because I flip back to empowerment. And if we looked at the definition of or the ingredients of empowerment, access. What they mean when they say empowerment and development and they say access, they mean access to opportunities. And to have access to opportunities, there's a lot of competencies or movement, as you said, from or self movement, which is I need to have the ability to influence others. I need to have the will to move, to take action. The opportunity can be there, but I need to find it. So that leads to something like resourcefulness. So the individual has to find resourcefulness in themselves. It's not enough that the door is open, but to find the door and go through it. When we talk about options being an ingredient for empowerment, if I have options, then even if these options are available, then that requires from me decision making.
I have to say something here. Headed options دي, if I'm psychologically empowered, I do believe I have options. If not,
that's a good
I don't see
way
any
of
options.
Very good.
And you know what came to mind وانتي بتقولي دلوقتي in if I'm a psychologically empowered person, my perspective for things would be إن أنا فاعل وليس مفعول به. فبالتالي I don't slip into that victim mode اللي هو بصي أنا بقى اللي بحط كلمات.
شفتي الكلمة هي كلمة كبيرة هي victim mode بقى.
مش هعيش استني أنا هعدلها دلوقتي.
Keep it simple.
مش هعيش في دور الضحية.
Okay.
فبالتالي أنا هدور على الاوبشنز هبقى عارف ان في اوبشنز حتى لو انا مش شايفهم قدامي.
Yes. In most people working to empower others, what they see that it is enough when we're talking about why the need for psychological empower. Most people that are working to empower others see that when I offer options or when I make options available, that's enough. What you're talking about is the receiving end. What's the requirement or the prerequisite to be able to receive the options, to be able to capitalize on options or be able to access. Yes. Even when I'm saying when you're talking about the power of the individual, power of self that we're talking about, you need power of decision making. You need the power to envision what your needs are, or to articulate your needs, to evaluate strategic thinking. How?
لا وعارفة بسمة وانتي بتقولي people who like want to empower others. واحنا بنتكلم على receiving end. لو أنا receiving end وأنا عايشة بالفكر بتاع الضحية، فأنا دايما بدور على مين ما اداليش ايه، مين ما عمليش ايه.
Yes.
أنا مش بشوف مين اللي عمل لي ايه. أو لو أنا ما عنديش الويل أو الموتيفيشن، يبقى أنتي مهما تعملي لي ومهما تديني أنا هطلع لك فيها القطط الفطسة. لا أصلها كانت معوجة حتة سنة يمين، لا أصلها كانت عالية شوية، أصلها كانت قصيرة شوية، أصلها كانت تخينة شوية، رفيعة شوية، فهطلع لك دايما العفريت.
Because actually I don't feel I have the power to move.
I don't have the motivation, the will, أنا هطلع لك فيها حاجة.
When you're talking about motivation, some of the key elements here that in empowerment we're learning and growth, and that requires a lot of motivation. To be motivated to learn, to be motivated towards improving yourself and growing as an individual. It takes a lot of.
خليني أقول لك أنا هنا شايفاها إزاي. عيني على الأوتكم الأخراني خالص، هو ده could be the motivation. When you are empowered, you have choices. When you have choices, you're free. It's a matter of being free. يعني if I am in a relation مثلا، لو أنا في علاقة مع حد، في فرق كبير ما بين إن أنا مضطرة أكمل في العلاقة دي لأن ما عنديش options، وإن أنا very much empowered. So I choose إن أنا أstay في العلاقة by my own will، لأنه I see the pros and cons and I weighted يعني بوزنها كويس وشايفة، لأني أنا عندي power. عندي power إن أنا أقول مش لعبة. that's even a more reason for me to play well لو أنا عايزة أكمل يعني.
But that you know what you just hit right now in a certain area of my brain is the idea that some people are afraid of the word empowerment.
Yes.
Because that means that if I empower a person, then that's not good for me in one way or another. That if I empower the woman, then she's gonna, تستقوي على حد. If I empower my employee, هيتنطط عليا. If I empower my child, then he's gonna give me a hard time. So they look at empowerment as how it actually in a very, maybe in a selfish way, but there's a good way to look at it.
I wouldn't call it a selfish way. I would call it out of fear. لأن أنا لو أنا خايفة to empower my partner, my colleague, my whatever, it's out of me protecting a territory بتاعتي. لأن أنا if you become empowered, هو it's not me being selfish. مش عايزة
بحس إن رصيدي أنا اللي هيقل. البطارية بتاعتي من الدايرة بتاعتي. أيوة.
من التورتة. You're gonna take part of my cake.
وده يرجعنا للحتة بتاعت إن أنا نفسي علشان أبقى عايز الآخرين يبقوا empowered, I need to allow myself the same equal rights. يعني أنا كمان لازم أبقى بشغل على my own empowerment process أو journey. لأن actually the most empowered people هم اللي allow this to others. دايما بيقولك يعني لو هنتكلم بالطريقة العادية يعني إنه الشخص اللي صوته عالي ويبدو عليه سلوك القوة قوي من بره غالبا بيخبي وراه ضعف كتير. versus الحد الهادي الراسي اللي الكلام طالع مظبوط بمقاس مظبوط محسوب كل حاجة. ممكن بيكون ده وراه إن هو he's grounded and strong enough, he's not threatened. فI'm allowing you to be yourself as well. وهنا لو هتسمحوا لي هقول ميتافور أنا بحبها قوي قوي. مفهوم القوة، يعني الأسد والفيل. كل الناس بتقول الأسد ملك الغابة. actually الأسد ما بيعملش حساب في الغابة كلها غير للفيل. والفيل is a peaceful creature. A hell of a strong one. But he's peaceful. يعني كده عارفة تقيل كده، حركته تقيلة كده وجامد في نفسه يعني. فده مفهوم الempowering بالنسبة لي، شخص يعني كائن كده يعني. This is how I see it and I love to picture it that way يعني.
شايفاني فيل
يا باشا.
شايفاني فيل ولا مش شايفاني
فيل صغير عشان ما تزعليش.
Let's not go there. طب أنا عايزة بس أقول على حاجة مهمة قوي when it comes to empowerment and why empowerment. Okay. ودي I'm gonna take من اللي انتي كنتي بتقوليه يا رضوى. If I'm empowered and I feel good, أنا هكبر أولادي empowered. If I'm empowered, that will lead to a better relationship with my partner. If I'm empowered, هنكمل بقى الليستة إلى ما لا نهاية. لأن كل مرة أنا I grow through empowerment, I'm able to grow others with me.
And have solid, good relationship, powerful relationship, meaningful relationships that are mutual in exchanging or benefiting from each other's strengths. يعني مش عاوزة أقول إن it's that you'll be sacrificing.
No.
When you empower others, that actually you grow and everyone around you grows.
So there's a mutual benefit.
What I think we've sort of هو برضو عاوزة أقول بحر بس هو أوسع من البحر بكتير. يعني when we go into empowerment, that people can just say the word in one sentence, think they know what it is. Psychological empowerment, the layer that we want to dive into. But I want to tell our audience why women بقى. So maybe someone can jump in and tell me why, when I said, let's do it, ladies, why did you jump in particular in this topic of psychological empowerment for women?
Who wants to jump in?
Okay, I'll go ahead. طيب أنا one of my biggest values أنا كابتهال is freedom. Okay. وما أقدرش أقول إن الكلمة اللي هقولها دي عكس كلمة freedom، بس هي there is an element of it اللي هي القهر. و it really pinches me لما بشوف حد limit freedom أو بيقهر another living being أيا كان. يعني it's not necessarily limited to women. However, even though in here this is a general value عندي, when it comes to women, a lot of times what I see in women are they're stuck because of so many different هرجع للكلمة اللي رضوى قالتها so many different beliefs. Cultural, society, أو they do have the opportunity to break free. إن هما ما يبقوش مقهورين. بس they don't. Not because they can't, but because they can't see it. And ولما بقول break free أنا مش قصدي إن هنا حد هيكسر الدنيا ولا هيعمل حاجة. At least break free as far as breathing, as feeling I am worth it, as understanding my self-worth as a human being. And I see this so many times. والحتة بتاعت empowerment for أو psychological empowerment for women هنا has nothing to do with your education, your social background, your economical background. It has to do with what you believe and that you can break through even if the pragmatic status is not going to change, but the inside is going to change.
I want to add, I want to take...
Don't add and سيبيني أنا هقعد أعيط دلوقتي طلعتي كل اللي جوايا خلاص.
Well, we have something in common because one of my values is freedom. You've touched upon freedom. It's also, I think, my choice. I didn't want, when I was younger, I didn't want someone to tell me, no, you can't. And I was quite stubborn in a lot of things. I mean, the famous words that used to kill my parents was why and why not? Why and why not? So even when it came to something like, why can't I was a paper boy when I was young, paper girl. Okay, but the term was paper boy at the age of 10 because I wanted to earn my own money. And there were issues around that, but why not? Why can't I be a paper girl? Why can't I start a business in a certain field that's primarily male dominated? Why can't I fix my own tire? Or why do I need someone to babysit me somewhere? Or anything. In my life, it's always been this sense that people want to put me in a box and I just want to get out of it and say, no, don't put limits on me. If I put my mind to something, I felt that I can do it. Why, like Ebtihal was saying, بتكتفوني ليه سيبوني. And that used to really irritate me. And it made me say, no, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you that I can do it. I mean, there was one incident where when I was first trying water skiing. And the guy looked at this, fragile, thin little girl and said, you don't have the muscles and, you're too small and you're not going to be able to do this. I looked at him, and I said, استنى بس عليا. And I insisted. And I said, no, I'm going to give it a try. And because of him telling me that I couldn't, the boat pulled me like twice and I fell. And the third time I got up and I went all the way around the bay.
And I'm like, you see?
I felt so proud of myself. I felt proud. You know what I mean? And that's I guess what I started noticing. It's not only me in my journey of life, but people looking at other women. And for a lot of people, you really start believing you can't.
Yeah.
Until you start challenging yourself or having that attitude like, why not? Yes, I can do it. Radwa, how can you relate to what we're saying? Why women for you?
Okay, why women? Because I am a woman.
Okay.
أنا أم ل3 بنات. علشان the value of freedom, I second you both. أنا for me أنا بعتبر إن دي the top of values. يعني لو في حاجة في الدنيا يعني حاجة ممكن نستغنى عن حاجات تانية ودي لأ، يبقى freedom. علشان it gives you even choice إنك to worship God مثلا. يعني if you're not free, you cannot really worship God authentically. يعني this is أنا how it lands معايا يعني. إيه كمان عشان كلمة freedom غالبا هنا في مجتمعنا ممكن بيبقى سمعتها سيئة. يعني هي بتبقى بديل لحاجات كتيرة مش حلوة. while actually هي أحلى كلمة ممكن حد يمارسها بجد. to reflect أو to embody this value is how I relate to that. I am a free, empowered woman, a mother. وأنا I see this as يعني مكان جامد قوي قوي على فكرة. ده حوش اللي بيقع منك يعني. أنا عندي حاجات كتير قوي أقولها على الموضوع ده, but this is how I can relate كده من برا يعني.
Coming back to why would a nation care? When I did a lot of research on the topic on a national level, economic level, we're half the population. And if you don't utilize the talents and the potential of 50% of the population, then you're losing out in a global world.
I'm gonna take this to another notch.
Yes.
Because you're not just losing half of the population. Actually, ما هو women
هم اللي بياخدوا بالهم من الباقيين.
ما هم women are the moms who are taking care of the kids.
Yes.
Women are the daughters, along with their brothers who will also take care of the parents. Women are the wives. So it's not only just half the population.
We take care of the other half.
Thank you.
We influence the other half. We have equal stake.
We take care
have
and
equal stake in
influence.
everything.
It's not either or.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a small child, and the definition of small child مش هندخل لحد فين small, but you are taking care of that child.
Yes.
And you're influencing the child, you're influencing your teenager, you're influencing your young adult, you're influencing your older kids, you're influencing your grandkids.
Yes.
So it's beyond.
It's beyond
taking
the-
care and influencing. It's both.
Yes, and it's such a shame that people look at women empowerment issue as an issue or a struggle or a war between sexes.
أنا لازم هقولها women empowerment بتترجم في الآخر أي حد تتكلمي يقول لك جمعية المرأة المتوحشة and it's not.
Yes, and this is why we're here.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to learn more about psychological empowerment for women, and actually it's for men and women alike, join us on our social media platforms, like, subscribe, comment, find us on our podcast apps, get in contact with us. Tell us what you'd like to know more about it. Thank you. We're looking forward to seeing you.